The founding mothers of America. 1. Martha Washington. It was Martha's wealth that allowed George Washington to thrive. Martha came from the top of Virginia society. She could have stayed at Mount Vernon during the Revolutionary War, but she chose to follow her husband and spent the next 8 winters at his encampments. She also held public receptions at the president's house. Martha made sure that women's opinions were heard at these events. She also invited people from every state and every class of society. 2. Abigail Adams. Abigail was the closest political advisor for her husband, John Adams. She also corresponded with many founding fathers. In her letters, Abigail advocated women's rights and denounced slavery. John Adams's political rivals called her Mrs. President. Even after Adams lost the presidency to Jefferson, she remained active. She fought for equal education opportunities and full property rights for women. 3. Deborah Reed. Deborah Reed was Benjamin Franklin's common-law wife. When he left for Europe to represent the United States, she stayed behind. They wrote each other frequent emotional letters. Deborah proved an astute business manager. Even though she had no formal education, she built up Franklin's printing business. She also ran his stationery shop and his general store. Sadly, she passed away before he returned to America. 4. Mercy Otis Warren. Warren was one of the most important pamphleteers of the American Revolution. She was an advisor to many revolutionary leaders. Warren corresponded with Samuel Adams, John Hancock, and John Adams. Later, she also exchanged letters with Thomas Jefferson, Patrick Henry, and George Washington. She published her early pamphlets under the pseudonym A Columbian Patriot. After the Constitutional Convention, Warren published observations on the new Constitution. She opposed ratification of the Constitution without a Bill of Rights. 5. Elizabeth Schuyler Hamilton. Alexander Hamilton's wife was an influential philanthropist. She co-founded the first private orphanage in New York City. Elizabeth was a very astute writer, as well. She helped Hamilton compose the Federalist Papers. She even helped him revise Washington's famous farewell speech. Her orphan asylum society still exists today as Grand Windham. 6. Esther de Bert Reed. Reed was an important civic leader during the Revolutionary War. She formed and led the Ladies' Association of Philadelphia. The association provided aid for George Washington's troops. Her husband Joseph joined Washington's staff as an aide. At the time, Congress had no power to tax to raise funds. The Ladies' Association successfully raised over $300,000. Her efforts were picked up by Sarah Franklin Bach, daughter of Benjamin Franklin. 7. Margaret Corbin. On November 16, 1776, Margaret joined her husband John on the battlefield. John was one of some 600 American soldiers defending Fort Washington. 4,000 Hessian troops under British command were attacking the fort. Margaret was allowed to accompany John as a nurse for injured soldiers, but she watched him work the cannon and learned to do it herself. When John was killed, she took his place. Margaret Corbin continued to fire the cannon until she was seriously wounded. She was able to fire, clean, and aim the cannon with great ease and speed. This impressed the other soldiers so much they accepted her. She later became the first woman ever to receive a veteran's pension from Congress.